You know, there's a lot of weird rhetoric going around in the NASCAR world that the next gen car isn't a good race car and that it's actually hurting NASCAR. And I don't know how people can think like that. So here I am today to make a video about why the next gen car is NASCAR's best race car they've ever raced. I'm going to give every single example of why this race car is the most amazing race car that I've ever seen, and why everyone should be a fan of it, and why there should be no detractors from it, and that anyone who hates it is just they just don't know what to think. So let's just start off right with the fact that the competition aspect is closer. I mean, competition's never been closer in NASCAR, and I mean, like, the spec part of it. I love that they took out the creativity of the teams. Who wants to see creativity? I just want to see all these cars run the same speed together, and just all these cars be closer, and these smaller teams have a greater shot instead of having to try to build themselves up and work for it. I think it's just amazing to see how close all these teams are in terms of competitiveness, and it really leads to some great racing. And you know what? Next gen car, it took the best things of the 550 package, improved on it, and it just works out. It just really, really works out, right? I mean, the restarts are chaotic, right? I love the high corner speed. Who doesn't love high corner speeds and very minimal off throttle time? That's just it's just the epitome of stock car racing, and I'm so glad that NASCAR finally figured out this is what we need. We don't need low downforce. We don't need low grip. We need something like we have right now with the next gen car. I'm just super glad that NASCAR has done that. As mentioned, it's taken some of the great stuff for the 550. That's where stuff like the diffusers come into play, narrowing the aero wake behind a car, and even though it creates a more centralized wake, so if you cross it, you still get affected. It's still much less, and we're never gonna get rid of dirty air, guys. Okay, that's just something people complain about not being able to pass, and oh, dirty air sucks with this next gen car. Just face it. As long as there's cars moving around that racetrack, there's dirty air. You can't get rid of it, and anyone who thinks that is childish, right? So just get rid of that rhetoric, right? That's not that just you can't get rid of the dirty air. Okay, anyone who complains about that, they don't know what they're talking about. Okay, so that's always gonna be a thing. The diffuser limits it. Great thing we have the diffuser. I love the underbody. I mean, it creates so much downforce. We love downforce here, and it's absolutely amazing. And you know what? If you spin out, you get punished for it. If you maybe are on flat tires and you're ruining the diffuser and the underbody, I think that's great. I think it's great that there's some sort of punishment for making a mistake throughout a race. And speaking of that, right? I love the fact that the next gen car holds up against slight contact with the wall or slight contact with another car. I know that sometimes they break the toe links and they have to repair that on pit road, but it's so much better than it used to be, where they would cut down tires and they would fall out of the race, right? I mean, at least now you only go like 5 laps down repairing the toe link, right? It's not that bad. You have to get a tow back to the pit sometimes, maybe, sure, but yeah, it could be a lot worse, right? This isn't all that bad, so I'm really glad about that. And thank God that we have the next gen car, because it's really improved the racing at the big tracks. I mean, the intermediates are outstanding. I've never seen better intermediate racing in my life, right? I've gone through and watched races all the way back to 2004 at this point, and I've never seen intermediate racing any better than what we have it right now. It's never been better on the intermediates, right? And think to tracks like Pocono, right? Before the next gen car, Pocono was dead to rights. It sucked with the Gen 6 no matter what you threw at it. And now here we are with the next gen car. It's produced two outstanding races. I mean, think about what we've seen in the next gen races at Pocono, right? Denny Hamlin walling Ross Chastain out of revenge for payback for Gateway, right? And then Denny Hamlin walling Kyle Larson off turn one, the same thing, just for the hell of it. I mean, that's great stuff. That's great racing, and there's probably other things that happened in those Pocono races too that were out. I can't think of them right now, but there was definitely other stuff that happened right beyond that. So I mean, just think about that. Now we're gonna have Indy back. The Indy Oval with this race car. It's gonna be so great. There's nothing wrong that's gonna happen there. It's gonna be outstanding. And I love the fact that Goodyear is in such a box with the tires they have to bring. They really have to get their engineering right, and they really have to go to work, do their homework, and come up with a solution that's never been done before. I absolutely love what Goodyear has done, uh, or what NASCAR's done to force Goodyear to do something. Because if Goodyear's not good enough to make a tire for the next gen car, they don't deserve to be in the sport. And we can get someone like Firestone or Hoosier that knows how to build a tire, that can come to the sport and give us something that's really, really good. Okay, if Goodyear can't build a tire for the car, they don't deserve to be here. That's just how it's going to be. Nothing's wrong with the next gen car. It's all Goodyear's fault. Goodyear needs to learn to bring a tire with fall off, and then we'll get some better racing. And really think about the racing we've had anyway, right? Imagine if we get a tire with fall off, how outstanding it's going to be. And I will admit, for the road courses and the short tracks, the racing is lacking at times. However, I've seen much worse racing at road courses and short tracks in the past. This is a lot better than it could be, right? And I think we have to be happy with what we've got, right? We have really great racing at the big tracks, and really, if they just fix the issues with the short tracks and the road courses, we're gonna have the perfect race car, guys. I mean, I don't see anything else that's wrong with the car besides maybe some boring short tracks and road courses. And even then, I don't think they're really all that boring. I just think that people have way too high expectations for races. I don't know where these high expectations came from, but they just have such high expectations for races, and it's really just lower your expectations, guys, and you'll love every single race the next gen car puts on. It doesn't matter if it's a short track, it doesn't matter if it's an intermediate or a road course or a super speedway. And speaking of super speedways, oh my gosh, that racing is outstanding with this car at these super speedways, right? I mean, they're always too wide, right? They're always 2x2 all the way back, and the fuel saving, absolutely outstanding. I love a good strategy at super speedways, and seeing drivers run 80% throttle. That's some great stuff, right? And then when they get 3 wide and they're stacked up 3x3x3x3, and no one can move anywhere, that's just such great racing, guys. And then the carnage that comes at the end of it because everyone's pushing hard, that is classic stock car super speedway racing. We've been missing that for a while, and now we're back to it. It is perfection out there. Once again, the next gen car is perfect. And I mean, all these advancements in the technologies that has created the car that's maybe easier to drive, right? The bigger brakes, outstanding. The wider tires, more grip. I love it. The different, models of suspensions and the sequential gear shifter, love it. The single lug nut wheel, I love it. The bigger wheels, I mean, everything about the car is an advancement in technology. I have to applaud NASCAR for going the lengths they did to do that. I mean, it's just absolutely outstanding. And anyone who hates it, anyone who says, oh, the Xfinity car could put on a much better race than that, I don't see that type of racing in the Xfinity Series. I mean, the Xfinity Series could probably finish with like 10 cars on the lead lap if it stayed green. That won't happen in a next-gen race, right? These cars are so closely matched, you're not going to see that in a next-gen race, okay? So, yeah, competition with the next-gen car in the Cup Series, so much better than what we have in the lower series with, those old stock car models, right? They're not worth the time. So, yeah, anyone who says the next-gen car is hurting NASCAR, right? I mean, look at the viewership this year. It's up across the board, right? It is up, no matter what you look at. Ignore the 500 because it was on Monday. That's not a fair comparison. Look at Atlanta. Look at Las Vegas. Look at Phoenix. Look at Coda. Look at Bristol. They're all up. NASCAR's on the upswing, all because of the next-gen car. Nothing to do with the Netflix documentary that people want to talk about. Nothing to do with the fact that Chase Elliott was injured during these races last season and he's racing this season. Is all because of the next-gen car. You don't see those big increases if we have the Gen 6 still. It just would not happen. This is all a product of the next-gen. People love the next-gen. They love how it races, and it's saving NASCAR, guys. The next-gen car is saving NASCAR, and anyone who says otherwise, anyone who says it's hurting NASCAR and it's going to kill NASCAR, they don't know what they're talking about. They are wrong. I mean, it's just, I don't understand how you can hate it. In fact, anyone who hates it, they're not a NASCAR fan, okay? Anyone who hates it, get out of NASCAR, right? Your opinion is not wanted here. The only opinion that matters for NASCAR right now is that the next-gen car is producing the best racing possible and that the next-gen car is saving the sport. Anyone who thinks otherwise can leave the sport. We don't need your negativity. We don't need your criticism here, okay? The next-gen car is here to stay and is going to be the best race car. We're going to run it for decades, right? It's such a good race car. We're going to keep running it for decades, right? With these spec parts and whatnot, parts by manufacturers. By the way, you gotta love when a spec part fails. I mean, it's great to see that there's some some wear and tear on these cars again, right? Even though, I know the teams don't build them, so it's kind of random if they break. It's still great to see that parts can break. And we kind of got to get back to 2022 when it was like that. Parts breaking left and right, and it was so entertaining to see that happen. And yeah, and I think while we're at it, right, with how good the next gen car is, we could probably move a race from like Martinsville or something and give it to Kentucky, right? I mean, this car has saved so many tracks. I think if we went to Kentucky with how good it was in those last few years, we could be looking at probably best race ever if we went back to Kentucky. So, NASCAR really needs to get on that. And I mean, I think I've hit every nail on the head that I wanted to hit for this video. I mean, the next gen car is an outstanding race car. Anyone who thinks otherwise can leave the sport. Go watch F1, right? Go watch F1 where you see maybe 2 winners in a season, okay? I mean, if you're lucky, you'll see 3 or 4 winners in a season, right? I mean, anyone who wants the next gen car gone and to go back to the old days of stock car racing, they want F1 style racing. They want 20-second gaps between cars. They want just 3, 4 winners a season, right? Well, guess what? This is NASCAR. That's not going to happen. The Europeans aren't going to take over our American-made sport where we're going to see, 17 different winners in a season and multiple teams compete for a championship, right? This sport is amazing. The next-gen car is amazing. God bless NASCAR. God bless the next-gen car, and I hope it stays around for a long time. Thank you for watching this video, and I mean, I hope that if you hated the next gen coming into this video, that I turned your thoughts around with all this stuff, and yeah, just thanks for watching, guys. I mean, just support the next gen in the comments, and maybe I'll make a part 2 to this video and continue to talk about how good the next gen car is. I mean, it might have to be done if people don't see the light of day after this. So thanks for watching, everyone, and happy April Fool's Day, and screw the next gen car. We need to get rid of it.